Welcome to another episode of Math Snacks with Miss Glovely and Miss Wonderful. Today's lesson's Comparing Decimals, Part 3.
Wow, we've been talking about comparing decimals a lot lately.
And I've learned a lot about comparing decimals.
I'm really glad I could help you out. Now, let's just review real quickly. In episode 1, what manipulative was it we used to compare decimals?
We used the base 10 block, and we said if this was a whole, then it takes 10 of these to cover it, so this is the 10th, and it takes 100 of these little ones to cover it, so this is the 100th.
And so that we could use the area model because it really did take up the space of the whole number 1.
Yes.
But then we wanted to make it real life, and so we changed to a different...
In
episode 2, we changed to, this is our whole number 1.
And we no longer used area, but we used the value.
The value.
Value model.
Right.
Okay? And
So
we said...
What coin does it take 10 of to make $1?
And we determined that was the dime.
And then we needed to know what coin took 100 to make the dollar.
And that was the penny.
Perfect. Okay. Well, today we have a little bit, we're going to change from using a concrete representation to going to more of our abstract. But if you leave those there for a minute, this is kind of like comparing an apple to an orange, isn't it? These aren't the same things, are they?
No.
And so
And this isn't the same as this.
No, and so really we can't compare apples to oranges, can we?
Well, we can say this one's bigger than this one.
That's true.
But we can't really, I always heard the phrase my mom would say, you're comparing apples to oranges, and you got to compare apples to apples.
And oranges to oranges.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
So let's talk about, once we understand using the manipulatives, what we can just do with the numbers themselves.
Okay.
Okay? We're back to the same numbers that we had in the past, and so I know you already know which one of these is greater and which one of these is less. This is 2/10, this is 1900ths. Which one's bigger?
2/10 is greater than 1900ths because 2 dimes is really like 20 pennies.
That's right.
And that's 19 pennies.
That's
so
right.
20 pennies is greater than 19 pennies. So
Good.
I was comparing pennies to pennies.
Pennies to pennies. You
So
changed
apples
them.
to apples.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, if we go to the 1 and 900ths and 1 and 2/10, what are we doing now?
Well, here the one's the same, but we had 9 pennies. Sorry, it's taken so long.
That's all right.
7, 8, 9. And this was really 2 dimes, 2/10.
And a dollar bill.
And a dollar bill. So that's really
your second dollar.
I know you're hiding it from
I'm
me because you
hiding
think
it.
I'm going to go shopping or
Steal my money.
1 and 2/10, which is really 20 pennies. And
Right.
again, we can't compare those two. You can't compare
Dimes to pennies.
You got to think of it as how many pennies is the 2 dimes worth.
Right.
Which is 20.
I love how you're adding that 0, and it didn't really change the number at all, did
Nope.
it?
Nope.
Didn't change the number by adding a 0 behind the decimal point.
No, it would just be like if I traded those out for 20 pennies.
Absolutely. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
So this is
Less than.
1 and 9/10 is less than 1
1 and 900ths.
1 and 900ths is less than 1 and 2/10 or 1 and 20/100ths.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
now, if we learn from what you've done, you have exchanged dimes for pennies and made it, instead of 2 dimes, it's 20 pennies. And here, instead of 2 dimes, it's 20 pennies. So you are now comparing an apple to an apple.
Versus before it was like an orange and an apple because one was tenths and one was hundredths. Or
Abs-
one was dimes and one was pennies. So
Absolutely.
comparing apples to apples.
So now let's see if we can do this without using the manipulatives at all. So I
Okay.
get my money back.
Okay.
Okay. Let's try a new number. I'm going to have you write it because we love your handwriting.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you 3 decimals this time to compare.
3.
3. So actually you're going to be ordering them in the order from least to greatest.
Okay. I can do this.
Okay. But I'm
I
going to
can
have
do
you
it.
write them down first.
Okay.
Okay. First I want you to write down 3/10, which is 0.3. Good.
Because we learned that this was the tenths place.
That's correct.
Okay.
And then I want you to
or
write
3
down
dimes.
right 3 dimes, or if we were using base 10 bucks. But we're going to try to do it without the manipulative. Okay. Now, how about 1900ths?
Okay. No problem. I know which one's bigger. Okay.
So far.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Here's the third one. 175 thousandths.
Oh my gosh. 175 thousandths, because this is tenths, hundredths, thousandths.
Absolutely. So now, your job is to compare apples to apples. They all need to be the same place value.
Okay, I'm going to go back from what I learned before.
Okay?
This, to make these apples to apples are the same, I know that 3 dimes or 3 tenths is 30 hundredths.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if I take that same thought process,
Uh-huh.
this is like 17 hundredths, but I need to compare, they need to be the same. So since I added a 0 here before,
It's perfectly acceptable to add another 0. And now all of them
Now-
are out to the thousandths place.
so 3 tenths is the same as 30 hundredths, which is the same as 300 thousandths.
Absolutely.
19 hundredths is the same thing as 190 thousandths.
You're good.
And this is 175 thousandths.
Absolutely.
So,
and now
I can put them in order.
You can put them in order.
Well, this one is still the biggest,
Mm-hmm.
followed by this one, followed by this one.
Okay.
You know, I just thought of something. If I am comparing apples to apples, I can compare the numerals within them.
Once
The
you
numbers.
once you have them out to the same place value, all of them have 3 places to the right of the decimal. Now you can look at the size of the numerals.
So by adding those zeros and making sure that they're the same amount, I can now say, well, 300 is bigger than 190, which is bigger than 175.
Absolutely.
Which is still true that 300 thousandths is bigger than 190 thousandths, which is bigger than 175. I'll say that 3 times real fast.
No, thank you. Okay.
Okay.
You want to try one more?
Yep, one
okay.
more.
Let's give you 5 tenths, 57 hundredths, and 572 thousandths.
Right now I've got apples, oranges, and lemons.
You do.
So,
You got to make them all into the lemons
Lemons.
because they have more place value.
okay. So this would be the same as 570 thousandths.
That's correct.
This would be the same as 50 hundredths or 500 thousandths.
That's correct.
So in this case, you went the opposite way. This one is the first one. We want to go largest to smallest, right?
Either way.
Okay, this is the largest. Then this one is the smallest.
There you go. I think you've got it. I think I can't trick you anymore.
Yay!
2 thumbs up. Yay.
Miss Glovely, you are an awesome teacher, and I think now I could about compare and order any decimal you gave me.
I'm happy for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us in another episode of Math Snacks with the wonderful Miss Wonderful.
Ah,
Oh.
you tricked me. I am Miss Glovely, and I am
Glovely.
wonderful.
And that's what I meant to say. And the wonderful Miss Wonderful. So thank you and join us again on another episode.